Good morning, good people. Where'd I go? There I am. Good morning. This is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning here in southwestern Nevada. Not too far from the California border, especially relative to the size of the United States. We are here in George Nori country, Art Bell country, Poo-Rump or Poo-Rumper-Tucky, you choose. This is Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life. And it is a journey. You can think of it as a journey if you believe that this is not all there is. If you believe that it's more than just we're born, stuff happens, we suffer and die, and that's it. If you believe that there's more to that we have a transcendent soul, then you can get the concept that our purpose is to help you on that journey. So good morning, buenos dias, Watabebi. How is the weather in Jacksonville, Florida? Hope all is well there. Hope you have a good day. For our purposes, today is the volunteer breakfast at the Methodist Church, where all are welcome, all are invited. It's where we talk about how we can help the churches and help the orphans and widows, those people who are, what's the politically correct term now? Something like housing challenged, something like that. Nourish and encourage. Yes, we're here to nourish and encourage people who are not saved or successful. If you're saved, super duper. But our real focus is the people who are non-believers. They don't believe that we have a transcendent soul. And or they are not successful. But success on the journey should be thought of like a successful road trip. The goal is the destination, but the objective is to reduce suffering on the journey. You don't want to have the car break down. You don't want to get lost. You don't want to have people fighting on the way. You don't want to have a broken air conditioner, stuff like that. But the focus should always be on the journey. It's kind of like, imagine back 150 years ago, traveling across the Great Plains, getting from the east to the west, the long journey. You could focus on how hard it was every day, every mile, the heat, the dust, the jarring of the buckboard, etc. Or you could focus on the achievement. Another 5 miles. We made another 5 miles today. We didn't get attacked by Indians. Whatever it was, building hearty people. Okay, so that's our goal, is to help people on the journey. Today's main topic is addiction. Johann Hari, everything you think you know about addiction is probably wrong. And those of us who here have seen Johann Hari understand what he's saying. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But right now, what do we got? What's the advice of an 80-year-old? Lend only those books you never care to see again. Right. Don't lend out books that you really love. Hey man, this is my favorite book. Why don't you read it? Probably won't get it back, because if, as you say, that person is going to want to keep it. My habit now is, somebody tells me about a good book. Here's a new one. Here is a new one. My new friend Mark Iron John. This is another Robert Bly thing. Iron John, something that our people should be interested in. Yes. Okay. So, never lend the books that you want returned. And he and I had a discussion about that. So he gave me the book. He didn't say, I'm going to let you borrow this book. I now just have to get to read it. And let's see. Only Watabevi is there today. True. I did that. LOL. Good. Well, let's see. Watabevi's having a good run at things right now. Maticus Phonaticus. It's the field marshal. Field marshal. So everybody, I think we get a little shot, a little dose of oxytocin when we see each other here today. So, Matt, how are things in Prescott? Is the Fort Prescott under control? Are the natives restless? Are we moving forward with them? And how are things in Jacksonville? I think I asked that question earlier, but that's okay. It's okay to ask the question more than once. So, Watabevi, how's Bo? Bo is good. We had a good day, productive day yesterday. He's probably focused on the volunteers breakfast. Getting ready to go get my AZ driver's license. Oh boy. Okay. We're going to just dive right in. Okay. Yes, blessed. Okay. So I think Maticus von Atticus is going to be here in the next 2 weeks to retrieve his stuff, moving forward, leaving Nevada behind. Okay, moving right along. Let's talk about addiction. Let us talk about addiction. Everything you think you know about addiction is wrong. What do we think we know about addiction? Well, let me ask this question. How many times do you have to have use heroin before you become addicted to heroin? And people will say some number. 1 time, 3 times, 5, 10, some small number of times before you become addicted. The thought came from experiments that were done in the 20th century. Early 20th century, where they put a rat in a cage and they give it water and drug-laced water, like cocaine or heroin. And they sat back and they watched, and the rats would drink the cocaine, the drug-induced, the drug-laced water, sometimes to the point of death. And the conclusion was rats are rational, and no rational creature would intentionally kill itself. Therefore, there's something in the drugs, some kind of chemical hooks that when they get into your brain, you can't get, it's very hard to get unhooked from the drug. And that could be where the term hooked on drugs. Ratanol, correct. Rats are rat-anal creatures. No rat-anal creature would want to harm itself intentionally. Therefore, there's something in the drug that makes them do that. Well, along comes a professor that says there's something that doesn't make sense about that. Maybe it's not the drugs, maybe it's the cage. The rat has nothing else to do in the cage. It's bored. Taking the drugs is a way to overcome the negativity of its existence, the suffering of being in a cage with nothing to do, because rats are also active animals. They like running on rat wheels and doing things, and they're inquisitive and curious. If I drink Watabevi will punish me. Okay, and there we go. So that was the idea. But along comes Bruce. It's right there. Bruce, Canadian, said maybe it's not the drugs. Maybe it's the cage. Maybe it's the cage. And then fast forward, after a lot of research by Johann Hari, an intelligent, educated, motivated person trying to figure out what's this addiction thing. Johann Hari says, it's not the drug, it's the absence of good social connections, not having good relationships with people, isolation, things like that. And in the addiction world, they talk about HALT. What gets people to use drugs? Hunger, anger, loneliness, tired, being lonely. Right. What do they say in 12-step programs? When you feel like using, what do you need to do? Call your sponsor. Why? Because you probably were, isolated. You weren't in a good social situation. There's probably not many people at pool parties where they're having fun with other people decide they need to call their sponsor. Why? Well, on a neuroscience level, when you're releasing oxytocin, you're not releasing the kind of dopamine targeted at getting you to want to do things like use drugs. You're feeling good with people, when the oxytocin is flowing, the desire to use drugs is highly, highly, highly diminished. That's why in AA, if you think about using, what do? Call your sponsor or go to a meeting. Call a sponsor or go to a meeting. What happens if you call your sponsor or go to a meeting? You release oxytocin, connections with people. So Johann Hari says the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. Okay, cool. Let's see if we have anything else on our hit parade. Seth Godin, Seth's blog, long-term selfish, versus short-term selfish. Long-term selfish is good. Short-term selfish, not good. Darren Hardy, another good one. How not to ruin your children and employees. That has to do with praise. Praise is important, but it's proper praise. Proper praise prevents piss poor people. Well, there's going to be something like that. Proper praise. You don't not praise people when it's earned, and you don't overly praise people. So this is part 1 of 2. Tomorrow is part 2 about praise. So we got that going for us. Right. Okay. Looking to see if there's anything else. The month is almost halfway over already. I go back to school on September, mid to late September. And let's see, as I said earlier, our volunteers breakfast is this morning. Got to get ready for that. Got to be out the door in about an hour. Got to get on the peloton. And so let's see if there's any closing things from Wadabevi or Matticus von Atticus, the Undersergeant. Looks like Wadabevi might be getting her Ball Stoners card, her Stone Ballers security card before Matt gets his. Have a great Be Fast. We will try. Do good, be good, do good. If you can't be good, be safe. That's what Dennis, what's his name? Dennis from Pelotons, the Peloton. Dennis. Okay. Break the fast. Correcto. Yes. Okay. So with that, 15 minutes in, we're going to call it a day. Thank you all for being there. Remember, we're here to help you build better habits. Building better habits comes from repetition, repetition, repetition. You get into your brain that these are the things that you're going to do every day. You can do it on autopilot. What is a habit? Unconscious behavior. Program yourself to do better habits every day. Every day. Okay, with that in mind, we're going to say Avita Zane, Sayonara, Hasta la vista, baby. And that's it. Bunk. Well, gotta push the button again.